day life's happening. Some days are more eventful. Others, living protected with insurance you can depend on changes your life for the better. We insure the people and things you care about. Not Agency. We'll help you find the right coverage so when life happens, you have the right insurance protection for your family and business. When life happens, live protected. Non-agency for all your insurance needs.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, November the 15th. I want to introduce you to Danielle Woods, who is with us. Good to have you here.
So much to have me again.
Second time on our show from McCallum Place.
Right.
And we were talking before we went on about eating disorders, and this is what McCallum Place specializes in.
That's right.
But binging. And I wasn't quite sure what you were talking about when you used that term. People go into the holidays and start binging. What is it?
So binge eating disorder is a disorder in which a person eats more than a normal amount of calories in one sitting, often with a lack of control, and sometimes even with a blackout sort of mentality. This is a more and more common type of eating disorder. We see this with athletes. Joy Julius is a Penn State kicker that just was on Good Morning America talking about his binge eating disorder. So it's absolutely an issue just like the other types of eating disorder.
Does it fall into the category of a mental illness when you're binging?
Absolutely. So when you binge, you often have a reaction in your pleasure sensors, just like if you were using drugs or alcohol. So it's a form of self-harm and addiction, just like drugs and alcohol, really.
Then, after you have gone through the binge eating, do some people then try to regurgitate?
Absolutely. So for binge eating disorder, there's not typically that undoing, but for bulimia nervosa, another type of eating disorder that does have binge cycles, those folks usually have a sense of guilt and in some way undo their binge, either by vomiting, laxatives, or exercise.
So how do you handle this, or how do you try to solve the problem?
Well, it's really important that people with an eating disorder, especially binge eating disorder, are seeing a treatment team. So treatment is absolutely available. We're very fortunate that in Columbia, McCallum Place offers that treatment. But recovery is possible through treatment. So we do want to see those people get a multidisciplinary treatment team with a medical doctor, a dietitian, and a therapist team.
Do you have to admit that you're doing this, or does someone else come to you and say, hey, you know what, I think you got a problem, you should go and seek some assistance?
Either. You know, we do see patients that come in and are ready to be done with having this life-consuming eating disorder, and we also have people who are referred to us by concerned family or friends. Okay,
so if there is a problem, they can call you, or do you have a first-time event where people can come in and just find out what it's all about?
So we are right across from Women's and Children's Hospital. They're always welcome to walk in and make an appointment with me for a tour and some more information. But we also are starting a support group. The first section was actually on November 1st. The first and third Tuesday of every month, we're going to have a free eating disorder support group. That's for potential patients, people who might be struggling, but also family and friends to come in and have camaraderie.
So if you think that you have a problem, you can go the first, what is the first?
The first and third Tuesday of every month from 6:15 to 7:15. It's completely
absolutely free. No
absolutely
obligation.
Free, no registration.
Okay.
They can just drop in.
At McCallum Place. Danielle, thank you so much for coming by.
Appreciate it.
I learned something today. I didn't realize. I appreciate you visiting with us. All right? What's the phone number if they want more information?
They can call us at 573-256-0100.
Okay, or check it out on the web, too.
That's right.
Now, we go from binge eating to science on tap. And I want to introduce you to Nat Graham. Good to have you here, Nat.
Thank you.
And Andrea
Ravelo.
Science on tap is something that we talked about, I think, 2 or 3 months ago. But this is an event that you have once a month, right?
It's every month.
So what is Science on Tap?
So Science on Tap is just a program where we wanted for a way to graduate students in the sciences to be able to talk to the community about what the cool things are that they're doing. And so we thought, what's a relaxed way you can do it? And so we thought we'll just have something at a bar. And so Once a month, you go out to a bar, and a couple grad students will tell you what the cool things are that
That's
they're
why
doing.
it's called Science on Tap.
Science on Tap.
Because you can have a tap and learn about
Yeah,
science.
it's at Craft Beer Cellar. They've got lots of beer.
Is it the same place every month?
We've switched from a couple months ago. Now we're at Craft Beer Cellar, but it'll be the same place now for
Okay, so you have one on November the 16th.
November 16th and then December 14th are the remainder for the year.
So what are you doing on November 16th?
Well, I can let Andrea kind of tell you what she's going to be doing.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll be talking about orchids, which is what I research.
About what?
Orchids. Orchids, like the plants that if you were to go to,
Hawaii or anywhere in the tropics.
Or anywhere,
you find
they grow
beautiful
in
orchids.
Missouri as well. So one thing that sometimes people don't know is that they are found all over the world, pretty much.
Orchids are growing in Missouri too?
Oh yeah, we
Out in
have
the wild.
30 plus species of orchids growing in Missouri
Are
naturally.
irises part of the orchid family?
No, they're not. They're a
They're
different
not.
family. They are closely related, but they're a different family.
So
Yeah.
what do the orchids that we have growing in Missouri look like?
So all of the orchids we have in Missouri are called terrestrial orchids. The ones that you can usually buy at a store.
Right, those are tropical.
Those are tropical. They're epiphytic. They grow on trees and things like that. And those are tropical. They wouldn't be able to survive Missouri winters. So all the terrestrial ones, those are the ones that we find here.
Okay, I think I've got, in fact, I've just lovingly called them Missouri orchids, not really thinking they were orchids, but they almost look like a bamboo. They're growing on a bamboo, and they're little tiny blue flowers that look like miniature orchids. So those really are Missouri orchids.
Well, I'm not familiar with the plant you're describing right there. It could or could not be an orchid.
I'm
but
not drawing a beautiful picture of it with words.
I hope. They can be in lots of different colors. So
Okay.
whether that is or not an orchid, we would have to check. But yeah, their flower stalk is kind of like you described,
Like a bamboo.
and there can be different shapes of flowers. Some
Yeah,
are larger,
and the
others
leaves
smaller.
are very thin. The leaves are.
It depends on the species. Yeah, some
okay.
are larger, others. Yeah, it just.
So
all
how many
depends.
orchids do we have in Missouri?
I think around 32, so mid-30s.
And they're called terrestrial
And the
orchids.
type of orchid is a terrestrial orchid because they grow in the ground. And they can overwinter and they survive year after year. Yeah.
Do they transplant? Well, if you want to transplant, no.
No.
It seems like none of the wildflowers,
No.
they
Yeah.
grow where they want to grow. And if you try to transplant them or if you try to take care of them, they shun you off. They want to be left
do
alone.
not like it at all. And one of the things I'll be talking about is why they wouldn't do well with the transplant. So orchids have a close association with fungi. And this is not very well known, and there's still a lot to learn about it. But orchid seeds, they won't develop into a plant unless there's a fungus associated with it.
Okay.
And that's why it's difficult to just grow orchids unless you really know what you're doing from seed.
But you'll be explaining all of this
Yes.
on November the 16th. Where again?
It's a Craft Beer Cellar at
At
6
what time?
p.m.
6 o'clock. Everybody can come down and you can find out about tropical orchids and Missouri orchids. If you didn't know we have them, we do have them.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having
You're
you here. And Nat, thanks for, will you
Thank
come
you.
back again?
I will.
And when do you start up after the first of the year?
It'd be probably the end of January.
Okay, got it. We're out of time for today. Tomorrow, fall into art, and we'll tell you about a free kitchen library in central Missouri. Drop me an email, something you'd like to hear, pepperpmissouri.edu. Bye-bye.